Tonight on Business Live, Ghana's economy expands by 4.8% in the second quarter of this year, higher than the first quarter. Ahead, we'll hear from an economist who attributes the high cost of living to profiteering.
From a constant perspective, once we've discounted for the effect of price changes, GDP for the second quarter in absolute terms stood at 41,205.5 million, indicating a growth rate of 4.8%.
Also, 76 illegal foreign exchange dealers arrested during Bank of Ghana distress action in collaboration with the police as part of the central bank's efforts at stabilizing the depreciating cedi.
Though we keep on telling everybody to engage with the licensed ones, we see a lot of people, and most of them are not licensed. Today, the people we arrested are not even Ghanaians. And they come into our system and distort everything that we think is lawful.
Plus, economist Professor Peter Quartey advises the Bank of Ghana to tread cautiously over moves to increase policy rates again. My name is Beverly Broohm. Do stay with us. Hello again. Thanks for staying with us here on Business Live. Now, to the details. Ghana's economy expanded by 4.8% in the second quarter of this year, higher than the 3.4% recorded in the first quarter. The appreciable growth rate was driven by manufacturing, crops, mining, information and communication technology, as well as the education subsectors. The services sector expanded more than the average national growth rate. Here's government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna-Anim speaking.
From a current perspective, provisional estimate GDP oil was 132,263.5 million, and from a non-oil perspective, GDP for the second quarter of 2022 in current terms stood at 123,080.4 million Ghana cedis. From a constant perspective, once we've discounted for the effect of price changes, GDP for the second quarter in absolute terms stood at 41,205.5 million, indicating a growth rate of 4.8%. The growth rate of 4.8% indicates a 0.6 percentage point higher growth rate relative to what was recorded for the same period in the second quarter of 2021. From a non-oil perspective, in absolute terms, GDP stood at 38,976.1 million, indicating that from a non-oil perspective, GDP growth rate was 6.2% relative to the 6.6% that was recorded for the same period in the second quarter of 2021. From a sectoral perspective, we see the services sector maintaining its dominance with a contribution of 45.8%, followed by the industry sector 32.1%, and the agricultural sector contributing 22.1%. This culminates in GDP basic prices 123,802.8 million Ghana cedis. Adding on indirect taxes culminates to a GDP current prices of 132,263.5 million GDP provisional current prices.
Meanwhile, economist and director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey, has blamed the high cost of living in the country to profiteering by some traders in the country. He expressed worry over the mismatch between the growth of the economy and the standard of living in the country. He spoke on the marketplace.
All the challenges, if you could record this growth rate, it tells you we have an economy that if we do things right, we'll be able to enhance our economic performance, improve livelihood, and move out of poverty. But for me, what is quite striking is the fact that it is manufacturing that grew, and that grew by significant proportions, and that is encouraging because that is where you find the jobs. Then also non-oil grew by 6.2%. It's quite encouraging that we are not growing, we are a bit diversified compared to other countries that depended so much on oil in terms of growth. But we are quite diversified and non-oil is growing at a very significant proportion. I think we can enhance some of the programs, for instance, irrigation, one district, one dam, one village, one dam, all of that. They are good initiatives, but I don't think we have maximized the gains from this. Our irrigated land is very small compared to the proportion of arable land. We haven't done much in terms of supporting the value chain process, warehousing. So when the harvests or the rains are good, harvests are good, we are not able to store, we are not able to process. So I believe government should process more, put more resources into enhancing warehousing, enhancing processing facilities within the country, and supporting large-scale commercial farmers to pull up the small-scale farmers along the chain.
The Bank of Ghana, in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service, has arrested over 76 illegal foreign exchange dealers operating in the black market. The distress action, according to the central bank, is part of measures taken to save the Ghana cedi from further depreciating. Speaking to Joy Business, head of Forex Bureau of the Bank of Ghana, Ajua Kunedu Toto, indicated that the exercise will continue in other parts of the country in the coming days. My colleague James Eshen has more.
Distress action by the Bank of Ghana was mainly at the Central Business District area of Accra. Scores of illegal foreign exchange dealers were arrested for operating without licenses. Ajua Konedu entreated Ghanaians to stop engaging unlicensed foreign exchange dealers.
Bank of Ghana, together with Ghana Police Service, decided to undertake this long-awaited clamping of illegal foreign exchange dealers from the streets of Accra. And it is something that we intend to do across the country. And as you all know, if you don't have a license to operate in Ghana, a license issued by the central bank, it is an offense to trade in any foreign currency. And for the past few years, we see them seriously engaging in this illegal act. Public education has gone out, and still we see these unlicensed institutions around. So today, we decided to start something that will be an ongoing thing throughout the country. We decided, and luckily or fortunately for us, we happened to get over 76 illegal operators on the streets. And we are saying that it is important that the general public desists from engaging in business with these unlicensed ones.
She further cautioned other illegal foreign exchange dealers to desist from such acts.
As long as we have them on our streets, we need to clean the streets, and we need to have licensed ones coming into our central bank to pick their license and paying the necessary taxes that will let the country grow well. It has been a lot of, it's causing a lot of havoc to our Ghana cedis, our sole currency. And even though we keep on telling everybody to engage with the licensed ones, we see a lot of people, and most of them are not licensed. Today, the people we arrested are not even Ghanaians, and they come into our system and distort everything that we think is lawful. So it's just that it is something the police and law enforcement agencies must do. And we came in from Bank of Ghana to collaborate, to give them the muzzle to do the needful. So I believe that the police will continue, other law enforcement agencies will come after those who don't have license. So please, we encourage the public to stay from that side of the business. Thank you.
You're still watching Business Live here on the Joy News channel. Now into the agricultural sector. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture has charged the Ghana incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending to increase funding to the coconut industry. Speaking at the launch of the second International Coconut Festival, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Addo, reiterated his outfit's support to the coconut sector. He further stated that in a bid to support the industrialization agenda, the ministry has distributed about 23.9 million coconut seedlings to farmers under the Planting for Food and Jobs program.
Coconut Group and the Ghana Export Promotion Authority launched the second edition of the International Coconut Festival. Speaking at the event, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Addo, called on financial entities to increase support to farmers.
It is my wish that this Coconut Business Festival will offer the opportunity for participants to deliberate on the following strategies, among others, through various presentations, seminars, workshops, and panel discussions, and identify key investment areas, among others, that will enable Ghana realize the full benefits of the coconut subsector. 1. Increased access to improved planting materials. 2. Containment of the Cape St. Paul's valve disease. Some call it wilt disease. Then 3, expansion of area under cultivation. 4, enhanced productivity and farmers' income. 5, capacity building on value-added products and support to processors. And lastly, 6, strengthening of existing farmer-based organizations and providing them with innovative financing schemes. For us, that is very key. And I'm happy Gesal is here, and this is to your attention. We really need to mobilize resources for especially the farmer-based organizations so they can go to the next level.
Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Samuel Dentu, disclosed that coconut generated $11.44 million, while coconut oil raked in $7 million in 2021. He indicated that this is a 132% increase from the previous year.
According to the 2021 non-traditional export results, which was launched a couple of months ago, coconut raked in 11.44 million, while coconut oil alone earned about $7 million US dollars in exports. These figures represent increases of about 132% and 33% respectively over the 2020 figures.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Trade and Industry reiterated its commitment to ensuring that Ghana's coconut industry realizes the $2.8 billion revenue that could be generated from exports. Samson Abankwa, head of Greater Accra Regional Office of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, represented the sector minister.
The Honorable Minister says he's been informed that the coconut has the potential to generate 2.8 billion in revenue annually, export revenue annually. Therefore, it is the hope of the ministry that we continue to strengthen existing institutional synergies and use every available opportunity to push through the promotion of the coconut, especially that we know that it is already employing over 36,000 persons along the value chain.
This year's International Coconut Festival is themed Repositioning Ghana's Coconut Sector for Accelerated Industrialization Agenda.
Still on agriculture, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has charged the Ghana incentive-based risk-sharing system for agricultural lending to increase funding to the coconut industry. Speaking at the launch of the second International Coconut Festival, Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Addo, reiterated his outfit's support to the coconut sector. He further stated that in a bid to support the industrialization agenda, the ministry has distributed about 23.9 million coconut seedlings to farmers under the Planting for Food and Jobs program. We'll bring you more after this break. Please stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now to some other stories. A group of African agricultural researchers have developed the Africa Climate Smart Agricultural Framework to be submitted at the United Nations Climate Conference this year. The group put together the framework at the just-ended 3-day Science and Partnership for Agriculture Conference, which was held in Ghana. One of the researchers, Dr. Yemi Akimbamijo, explained that the framework is an actionable step to ensuring agricultural transformation on the continent after years of deliberations.
Executive Director of Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, Dr. Yemi Akambamijo, says his outfit hopes to bring significant change in agriculture in the near future and to ensure that mistakes from the past are not repeated. He spoke at the closing ceremony of the Science and Partnerships for Agriculture Conference.
I graduated from Faculty of Agriculture in 1984. And that was when I've been hearing agricultural transformation agenda. Transformation agenda. Since 84, we are still transforming. That's not looking good. That's not looking good at all. And one of the things that we are doing in FARA is to say, okay, we stop with all these blah blahs and start the do-do. And we put together what is called the African Climate Smart Agriculture Framework that we are taking to Sharm el-Sheikh. And we are taking an unorthodox method to help ourselves, because one of the things we're looking at is, if you look back to Durban 10 years ago when the COP was held in Africa, what have we gained since Durban? We call it Durban plus 10. What have we gained, and what lessons have we learned? So we are now set to say, okay, from 2022 to 2032, we must avoid the errors of omission or commission in the last 10 years and put a framework that helps us. When we look back, we see what we've done. And then how do we correct our movement going forward?
A memorandum of understanding was signed by the European Alliance on Agricultural Knowledge for Development and the African Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services to disseminate and educate farmers on the framework. Dr. Stephen Onakuse is president of the European Alliance on Agricultural Knowledge for Development.
Part of the agreement we signed with AFAS today is when we evaluated what is the work of AFAS, which is directly related to extension services. How can we get our research to the farmers? We find it is very important for us to work with AFAS to be able to secure funding and work directly with transmit our innovations and activities to the farmers. Unfortunately, they say farmers are most of those people accused of polluting the environment. So we believe that having this kind of interaction and education and research activities, they will be able to contribute much more effectively in reducing or providing mitigation towards the activities of climate change.
This year's Science and Partnerships for Agriculture Conference was themed Introspection on Climate Smart Agricultural Action to Strengthen Accountability, Resource Use and Impact in Africa.
And that's how we end Business Live here on the Joy News channel. Thank you so much for your time. For more business news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broohm. Enjoy the rest of